Welcome into Steelers Talk, Yinzers. My name is Jack Sperry. On today's show, we're going to be breaking down Allen Robinson's restructured contract that he is doing with the Pittsburgh Steelers here. I'm going to be giving my updated list of team needs for the Steelers just before the NFL draft. And then also stick around to the end of the show because we have a very special announcement that you are not going to want to miss. But before we get into today's action, we are doing a sub battle, a subscriber battle here in the AFC North this week. We have not lost one of these in the history of Steelers Talk, and we are not about to lose one now. We're down quite a bit to Bengals Breakdown right now. They have 348 new subscribers this week. We need to catch up, guys. We need to get that going. We're ahead of the Browns and the Ravens by quite a bit. We need to catch up to the Bengals. And if that's not enough motivation for you guys, if we can get to 25,000 subscribers here at Steelers Talk before the start of the 2023 NFL Draft, we are going to be doing a raffle on next week's Steelers Talk live show. We're just under 800 new subscribers away from getting that done. We got a couple days left. Let's get those going. Let's win this sub battle, and let's do a raffle next week. Now let's get into the juicy stuff today, which is that Allen Robinson, the newly acquired wide receiver, formerly with the Los Angeles Rams, now a Pittsburgh Steeler, is getting a restructured contract. And, it makes this deal even sweeter to me. I think the compensation was already great, but this makes it even better. Ian Rappaport broke the news last night. This is what he had to say as part of the trade to the Steelers that'll be official tomorrow. Ex-Rams wide receiver Allen Robinson's contract has been reworked, source said. 2023, LA pays $10 million total, and Pittsburgh gives him $3.835 million signing bonus and base of $1.165 million. And then in 2024, he now has $10 million base down from $15 million. So I want to kind of break this down because that's a little bit of a confusing tweet from Rappaport. This is the official numbers according to Spotrac.com as of this morning. So in 2023, his base salary is going to be $1.165 million. Okay, it was $5 million. That's been reduced. It's been converted to a signing bonus that's now going to be cut in half between the next 2 years. So for 2023, it'll be $1.9175 million. So for a total of about $3 million total cap hit in 2023, which is a lot better, or at least it's $2 million more than it would have been if it would have stayed the same. And if for whatever reason, like Allen Robinson just sucks in camp this year, they want to cut him, it's going to be $5 million in dead cap. And then going into 2024 as well here, his base salary is going to be $4.25 million with $1.9175 again for that signing bonus. If he makes the roster in 2024, he gets an additional $5.75 million for a total of $11.9175 million as a cap hit for next season. But it's a very cuttable contract still, because if they want to cut bait with him after just one season, maybe they draft a slot receiver this year that they think can step into that role next year. They can just cut him, and all they have on the hook for him is that signing bonus there of $1.9175 million. So I think that Omar Khan, the Steelers GM, has just worked his magic again when it comes to the contracts, when it comes to the trades. Omar Khan has done a fantastic job as the Steelers GM to this point. I can't wait to see what he does in the draft, because he's just done a wonderful job as the general manager of this team, at least in my opinion, to this point. So let me know right now, who is the better wide receiver? So Allen Robinson and Calvin Austin III, they're going to be competing for snaps there at that slot wide receiver position. At least I think that's what it's going to be. Let me know who you think is better in the comments section. Type AR if you think Allen Robinson, or if you like Calvin Austin III, go CA in the comments section. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So whenever you get an ad break, guys, just go down to the comment section, find that pinned comment, and answer today's question. All right, now let's get into some of these Steelers team needs. Now, I'm going to be breaking this down in 3 different sections. I'm going to have their true needs, the positions I think they absolutely need to address. I'm going to have their wants, the positions that they'd like to address. And then I have another category for depth, some positions that they'd like to add some depth to, maybe in the later rounds. So let's start with the needs here. Number 1 on my list is outside cornerback. They need to address this, guys. We know this as Steelers fans. The secondary has been a kind of an issue over the last couple of years. You do add Patrick Peterson in NFL free agency, who's now your cornerback 1. I like that move quite a bit, but he is getting a bit older. He's probably going to be a mentor to whoever they draft. Ahkello Witherspoon dealt with a big hamstring injury last year. Is he going to be able to come back? He's been really inconsistent throughout his career. Levi Wallace had a decent end to the season last year. You bring back James Pierre to be kind of a backup piece. And of course, you got Arthur Maulet there in the nickel. But we're talking about outside cornerbacks. I think you need some major help, in my opinion, at the cornerback position. You need to draft a cornerback within the first 2 rounds, at least in my opinion. Okay, guys, so I'm doing a special promotion on my Twitter here. Next week, I'm going to be reacting to your Steelers mock drafts for a Steelers Talk video. Here is my post on Twitter where I go, Steelers fans, put your Steelers mock drafts in the comment section of this post for a chance to get your mock on a Steelers Talk video next week. Retweet this post to get a shout out. Must be following me on Twitter for your mock to be eligible. So if you want to get your Steelers mock draft on the show next week, you got to go follow me at Jack_Sperry. This is actually my pinned post on my Twitter account, so it'll be right at the top. We're gonna have the link to that post in the comment section, guys, and you can check that out. You can, if you retweet this and get this out to your fellow Steelers fans, family, all that good stuff, I'm gonna give you a shout out regardless, even if we don't use your mock draft. So I can't wait to break this down with you guys. I can't wait to see what you guys have cooking in the kitchen, and I mean, just happy mocking, man. This is gonna be fun. All right, now let's get into number 2 here, where I have a coverage inside linebacker. Now, the Steelers have made some moves at inside linebacker during NFL free agency. You signed Cole Holcomb, Andy Landon Roberts, both of which are kind of more of those blitzing, aggressive style linebackers. Neither of which, though, is very good in coverage, right? And even Marcus Robinson on the bench isn't very good in coverage. You need to get somebody early on in the NFL draft. I'd say probably by the end of, at the very latest, round 3. You need to get a coverage linebacker, and for me, these are my top 5 inside linebacker prospects in this year's NFL draft class. Number 1 on my list is Daiyan Henley. I think that he's, when you take in all the variables, I think that he is the most ready to go for the NFL right now. I think he's a fantastic prospect. Jack Campbell right behind him. I think both of those guys are kind of 1A and 1B. I would be perfectly fine getting Jack Campbell. And then Drew Sanders, someone that's a bit of an underrated pass coverage linebacker, in my opinion. He's still raw in run coverage, which is why he's not number 1. But, man, he's got the NFL body to be a 3-down inside linebacker. I really like him. And then Dorian Williams, I like a lot as well. A little bit undersized, but great in coverage. And then Servocia Dennis out of Pittsburgh is one of my guys in this year's NFL draft class. You can maybe get him in round 5 or 6, depending on how the board falls. But, man, I think he's one very, very intelligent football player, and I think that he'd be a great fit coming back to the city of Pittsburgh. Now let's get into my final true team need here, which is nose tackle. I think that the Steelers, you added Braden Fajoku in NFL free agency to kind of bolster up that rank there. You still have Montravius Adams, and you got Cam Hayward and Larry Ogunjobi that are going to be playing your 3 technique and 5 technique respectively, but you still need that true 1 technique nose tackle. And I'm just not sure if Adams or Fajoku is going to be able to be a solid option at that spot. I think for the Steelers, you need to go out in the draft and you got to get somebody like a Jared Clark out of Coastal Carolina or a Mozzie Smith out of Michigan. Somebody that's going to be able to come in and be that rotational nose tackle piece that can stop the run, that can really be a plug in the middle of your defense. I think that'd be a really, really good fit for the Steelers, and you got to address it in this year's draft. Now, let me know in the comments section, what is the Steelers' biggest position of need heading into the 2023 NFL draft? I want you guys to let me know. I know I'm going to get some very interesting answers in the comment section. Then we get into the wants here. So these are the ones that maybe you don't have to address, but you would definitely like to address. Number 1 on my list of wants is left tackle. Now, it seems like the Steelers are okay with Dan Moore Jr. if they can't get one of the top offensive tackle prospects in this year's NFL draft class, but I think they would like to take one of those top 4 guys at pick number 17, or maybe even move up for somebody. Who knows? Paris Johnson Jr. is number 1 on my list, the most complete prospect in this year's draft class. Peter Skoronski would also be an excellent fit in my opinion. Broderick Jones is the best power blocking offensive tackle in this year's draft class, in my opinion. And maybe a close second is Darnell Wright, who is absolutely fantastic on the right side. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Chukwuma Okorafor and Dan Moore Jr. If they get Darnell Wright, will they move him over to the left side? Will they move chucks over to the left side. I don't know what they would do if they draft Darnell, but he is heavily rumored to the Steelers right now. That would certainly be an interesting pick at number 17 overall. Now we get into rotational edge rusher here, and we know this, guys. Alex Highsmith is coming in on his last year on his deal. Is he going to get an extension? We don't know this, but we got TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith locked up for 2023. I think the Steelers could really use another edge rusher. Now, you could go to free agency. There's still some really good edge rushers available in NFL free agency, but it's looking like leading up to the draft that the Steelers are at least open to getting that third rotational edge in the NFL draft. Then you go to strong safety here, and you sign Keanu Neal, who is a pretty darn good safety, strong safety in NFL free agency. He's going to be playing alongside Minkah Fitzpatrick, and I think they're going to be bringing back that 3-safety package with DeMonte KZ as well coming up here in the future. I think that, safety is a position where Keanu Neal is fine for now, but if you want to get somebody that's going to be a true strong safety, somebody that they really like, a bigger body that can really deal some damage there from that maybe even strong safety linebacker hybrid role in that 3-safety package, I think if they find their guy, they might take him. But overall, this is the best safety class in this year's or when it comes to NFL drafts. Then you got blocking tight end here. You got Zach Gentry back in NFL free agency to be that blocking tight end. And he's a big body, but it's like you could definitely go out and get a younger presence in there. You got Pat Freiermuth and Connor Hayward, two excellent receiving tight ends. Zach Gentry is a pretty good blocking tight end. I think if Darnell Washington is available at pick 49, somebody that's going to be an excellent blocking tight end, I think that might be the pick there in round 2. But I don't think this is something where they feel like they need to go out and get a rookie. Then finally, you got slot cornerback, and the slot is definitely a mystery for the Pittsburgh Steelers heading into the 2023 season. Right now, Arthur Maulet is kind of the presumptive favorite to be that nickel guy at 5'10", 190 pounds. He didn't have a fantastic season last year, not by any stretch of the imagination. So some people say, let's replace him with somebody in the draft. But there's also rumors that Patrick Peterson, the newly acquired cornerback, formerly with the Vikings, is going to be playing a lot more nickel cornerback, nickel star position, kind of like more safety type stuff in Mike Tomlin's defense next year. That'll definitely be interesting to see how Mike Tomlin plans on using these secondary pieces. He's usually very creative in how he uses these pieces, and it's sounding like, by the way, Pat Pete is talking that he's going to have a very fun role in the Steelers defense next year. So should the Steelers draft a slot cornerback? Type Y if you think yes, or type N if you think no. Let me know why you think what you think in the comment section. Then finally here, I'm going to be breaking down some positions that the Steelers could, they could use some depth on, that they might draft maybe somebody in the later rounds here. Interior offensive line. Now, for me, interior, they've been talking to a lot of guys that are going to go relatively early, so it wouldn't shock me if they spend kind of a higher draft pick on the interior, but I think that you've already put a ton of resources in free agency to the interior of the offensive line. I don't think you really need to go get an IOL here until about day 3, if I'm being completely honest with you. I think we're in a pretty good spot. And then also defensive line, you're in a pretty good spot aside from nose tackle. If you want to get some rotational pieces there on the interior of the defensive line, I'd be perfectly okay with that. And then you got wide receiver. You added Allen Robinson, but he is getting a little bit older. Maybe grab a guy like Xavier Hutchinson, bigger slot receiver out of Iowa State on day 3 if he's available. Running back, you got Jalen Warren and Najee Harris, pretty good duo there, but if you want to add a younger presence there, maybe in round 7, wouldn't mind that at all. And then it's looking like that the Steelers are considering taking a late round quarterback as well, whether it be Clayton Tune, whether it be Jaron Hall out of BYU. It looks like that they've been talking to a couple of these late round quarterback prospects to potentially replace Mitchell Trubisky as the backup to Kenny Pickett. So before I go here, we have a special announcement here from Steelers Talk, and that's that next week on Friday, day 2 of the NFL Draft, we are going to be going live. That is right. We are going to have a live show on day 2 of the NFL Draft. Of course, the Steelers have picks number 32, 49, and number 80. Now, I'm being told that we need to get those super chats in by pick 49 if we want to keep the show going all the way to pick 80. So be ready for the biggest live show of the year, guys. This is going to be an awesome party. And here's the thing, guys. Yesterday, the Browns Report had their live show. For those of you that tuned in to this week's Steelers Talk Live show, we put up over $700 in Super Chat revenue, and we thought we were in a good place. But yesterday, man, oh my goodness, this Browns Report squad, they put up $768. They are now in the lead, and now we are at war, guys. We need to show up next week, and we need to one-up them yet again. And we're not just going for the $768 figure, guys. We're going for the Steelers Talk Super Chat record here. We got over $1,200 in our Kenny Pickett jersey raffle giveaway show. And, this week we're planning on having something even bigger for y'all. So I can't wait to share that awesome party with you guys. We're going to beat the Browns Report. We're going to have the Steelers Talk Super Chat record so that those fools have no chance of one-upping us yet again. We are going to win this war. We are going to finish this fight. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's show. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel to help us win that sub battle with the AFC North teams this week. We cannot let the Bengals come away with the W. So if you want the Steelers to win this week, plus you want a chance at winning a raffle on Steelers Talk Live next week, Friday, go ahead and click that subscribe button for me right now.